Well, John and Barbara, it has been a morning of anticipation as we have awaited the arrival of the president. And let me step out of the way as we frame up Air Force One for you here. We are in the North Cargo area of RDU, and I've got to tell you, it is always so impressive to see this aircraft so polished. And it might be a little loud on your end. The risers that we're standing on are actually very close to the airplane. There is the presidential limousine pulling up now as we wait for the president to deplane the aircraft. Now, we have a handful of local leaders at the bottom of the stairways there, if you can see them. Governor Pat McCrory here to greet the president on the tarmac, welcome him to North Carolina. Also here, Raleigh Mayor Nancy McFarland, along with Durham Mayor Bill Bell and Morrisville's Mayor Mark Stolman. I'm also being told Chapel Hill Mayor Mark Kleinschmidt is here as well. Now, we do know that Congressman Mike McIntyre is on board. He will be accompanying the president to NC State. And noticeably absent this morning, Democratic Senator Kay Hagan not attending, as lawmakers often do when a president visits their turf. Her office says that she's not here because the Senate is in session. Now, just to our left, you won't be able to see this from our vantage point. There are dozens of friends and family gathered here to get a glimpse of Mr. Obama, perhaps a handshake if he decides to walk over before getting into his limousine. And John and Barbara, we talked to a few of them this morning, and many of them just thrilled to be here just to get a chance to see the president in person. We do, and if you'll notice, he is the first person there at the end of the staircase. He will be the first person to greet President Obama. We weren't sure until yesterday if he was going to be here, but we did get word late yesterday afternoon that he would be here to welcome the president to North Carolina, and as you said, he will be accompanying him to NC State. That speech, of course, is set for 1 o'clock today, and this is the president's first official business trip of the year, and of course his fifth visit to the Triangle since becoming president. So a very big day for North Carolina, and as we wait for him to get off of Air Force One, you can see Mark Stolman there taking a picture of us on this end as we wait for the president. Well, actually, this morning, John, we did meet a couple of people who were waiting in line. They were had to go through metal detectors before they came in. One woman we met has a relative who works at the White House. Someone else here had just received an invitation, some connections here. So those are the types of people that we met this morning. Of course, there are dozens of people here, so we'll be looking for some of those unique stories later today. I also wanted to point out, you can see here that their security is very tight at RDU this morning. We had to get here about 4 hours before the plane touched down just to set up our equipment. That was followed by an hour-long media sweep to secure this area. Dogs sniffed cars and our equipment before we were allowed back in, and all those guests that we were talking about, they had to go through metal detectors. And just a slew of Raleigh police officers are here, along with the State Highway Patrol and of course Secret Service, and right here in front of us, the White House Press Corps. So a lot of people here, and RDU really on lockdown right now as the president prepares to get in his limousine and head to RTP and then NC State. It will, and you know, we don't know exact details of the president's route. They don't typically release that to the media, obviously for security reasons. But yes, once they leave the airport, they will drive to RTP and then to NC State. So if you are going to be in those areas in the next couple of hours, you can expect traffic delays, as they usually halt the traffic pattern during that time period. Yeah, it is hard to see from where our camera is positioned. We're at the end of the media staging area, but right now it looks like the president is just greeting some of the people who had invitations to be out here today, shaking hands. Some people have their phones out, their cameras, they're taking pictures, just trying to get a glimpse, a handshake maybe, from the president as he makes his way down the line there. I'm not exactly sure how many people are in that area, but I could guess maybe 50 or 60 people are here to see the president, and he is about to, looks like he's getting towards the end of that line there, so he should be getting into that limousine at any moment, and as we said, he'll be headed to RTP.
We have live team coverage of the president's visit. We begin with Heather Wallaga live at Raleigh-Durham International Airport. Good afternoon, Heather.
Good afternoon, Barbara. The president leaving RDU here just moments ago. He is now set to tour VACON, as you said, in Durham before he will head to NC State. Air Force One touched down here just after 11 o'clock, a few minutes ahead of schedule, here in the North Cargo area of RDU. He was greeted by several local leaders, including Governor Pat McCrory, Raleigh Mayor Nancy McFarland, Durham Mayor Bill Bell, Chapel Hill Mayor Mark Kleinschmidt, and Morrisville's new mayor Mark Stolman. The president was accompanied by Congressman Mike McIntyre, and dozens of friends and family members were also here hoping to meet the president, many of them snapping pictures, shaking his hand. Now, we had a chance to speak with Governor McCrory after he welcomed the president, and he says he was able to set up a very important meeting in the moments he had with Mr. Obama.
It's great that the president's coming to Raleigh and to North Carolina. I gave him a warm welcome. I look forward to hearing his speech, and I set up a future meeting with the Energy Cabinet Secretary to talk about offshore drilling. So in my few minutes I had with him, maybe get some progress. And, you know, I want to build a relationship with the White House to help North Carolina and get us to work together on some very complex issues.
Now, after speaking at NC State, the president will return here, and Barbara, he is set to take off around 2 p.m.
Heather Wallaga was at RDU when Air Force One lifted off just a couple of hours ago. Heather?
Well, Fred, the governor and local mayors showed up here this morning to greet the president on his short visit to the Triangle. And here at the airport's overlook, dozens of people gathered to catch a glimpse of Air Force One as it departed RDU just after 2 p.m. President Obama was accompanied by Congressman Mike McIntyre and the U.S. Energy Secretary. They were welcomed by Governor Pat McCrory on the tarmac at RDU's North Cargo area. Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, and Morrisville's mayors were also on hand to greet the president. From here, President Obama motorcaded to power manufacturing company VACON in RTP before heading to NC State. That's where he announced the university has been chosen to lead a manufacturing innovation institute. Governor McCrory telling us he's thrilled with today's announcement and has committed a minimum of $10 million over 5 years to help fund that initiative.
When I became governor, I said manufacturing was going to be a major priority of this administration. That's one of the reasons we did tax reform, was to encourage those industries that make things. And I'm working together with the president and NC State University on this initiative. My budget director has already put that in our plan to help support this partnership between NC State, the federal government, and the state government, and the private sector. This is all about building relationships and trying to figure out complex problems.
The governor also telling us today that he was able to set up a meeting with the Energy Secretary to discuss offshore drilling. He plans to gather governors from across the country to join in that conversation. He told us that that meeting is set for next month. Live at RDU, Heather Wallaga, ABC 11 Eyewitness News.
It's an exciting day out there, Heather. Thank you.